Welcome back, everybody, to episode number 28 in our Oxygen Not Included Redux series. I am going to be spending a lot of time on the Gargani colony today. We have some stuff we want to get worked on. I've started it over there, and I'll get to that in a minute. But we have a rocket here that I have done some retrofitting on to get ready to move it. One thing I did is I changed the interior of our Spacefarer capsule and finishing up the last item now. But I just did a bunch of upgrades to make it match the other one that I had designed. So we put in the comfy bed. So this is now a luxury barracks, which gives us that extra one morale, which isn't needed, but it's nice to have since it fits. We're stocking up the rocket. We don't have quite enough food to fill the whole thing, but that's fine. I don't actually need that much. I think I'm going to reduce this down to 50 kilograms so that it's full, because that gives us more than enough food for what we need. I also took these off power because I don't need the refrigerators powered. They just need to be refrigerators so I can put food and medicine in them. But since neither of them spoil, I don't need the power consumption there. And I moved the gas pump down so that we are, in fact, getting all the tiles at the bottom. And then that way all the carbon dioxide that builds up can get vented out. So everything in here is now exactly how I want it. We also have finished doing a line here. I'm doing a temporary line. And I kind of shifted components of the rocket around just to kind of get these things to line up. I already filled up the oxidizer, and now I am running a little temporary line from our hydrogen over to our hydrogen tank so that we have just enough fuel in the rocket to move it. So you can see I did a patch line. I didn't want to do a long line that goes all the way to where the tanks were because ceramic is expensive and it's temporary. So I just moved, instead I moved the tanks to match up where the things were. So I don't need a lot in here. I just need, the goal is to launch the rocket into orbit so that I can land it on the new rocket pad over here. 3 tiles range is more than enough. So let's use our new disconnect tool. Disconnect the line again. And then we'll redirect our hydrogen. That way it can continue flowing. And then this line will empty into the tank. I don't mind if there's more than I need because we're going to keep that tank so it won't get lost. But I don't need to fill it all the way up yet. Okay. Last thing we need to do is change our crew. We want Hayes to be the pilot. And let's board him. And while we're doing that, we're going to change our destination. And we're just going to set it as to a tile that's in orbit. And so once we get him in, we good. I can actually, we'll do that once we move it. I was going to say we can remove these components that I added in just to space it. I picked components that were the right size to just push this tank into place. Okay, so Hayes is now inside. We'll take him and we will remove his suit. I also want to, even though it's a very quick flight, I want to assign these to him so that he can be ready to go. Okay, so now everything is good. I want to open our gantry. And we'll just double check our checklist. Everything's good. I had problems. The reason I'm moving the rocket is so that I can have it up here on the new ones where the heat won't interfere with things. I was having issues with when this lock rocket launches, it would melt items down here. So I redirected the transit tube even farther, and I put in a second row of insulated tile temporarily. I think that'll be enough to capture the heat so that it doesn't cause any problems. We might have some issues with some of this stuff, but it's all getting removed anyway, so that's fine. So let's launch this and see what happens. Looks like we're not having any trouble there. Heat is getting through, but not far enough to melt that. It did melt some power lines up here. That's fine. I can repair those. What I was concerned about... Oh, no, it did cut the main power, so I need to... I need to get this fixed immediately. Yeah, and like I said, it destroyed a bunch of ladders and things over here. Those are not a problem. But this power now just cut off my power grid, which means I need somebody up here fixing this as soon as possible. That one's fixed. Come on, one more red alert. Why are you doing that wire when I need you doing this wire? Sometimes drive you crazy. Come on, get this wire fixed. Okay, power is restored. Now the problem I had when I tried this before, come down here, is that power shut off power to my oil processing, which meant that I didn't have oil flow. My oil flow coming back, it is. And this system here, if you don't have oil flowing through it, the petroleum gets so hot that it starts to cause problems inside. So I'm hoping that this oil gets over here before we start having overheating problems, so that we don't have to get in here and fix it. So let's see what happens with that. Where's the oil? It's coming. I may have to redesign it so that there is a fail-safe system so that this has its self-powering or something, just to make sure that that doesn't ever occur. But as long as this gets here in time, that I don't have to break this open to get a duplicate in here to repair things, I'll be happy. You can see the temperature in this pipe is getting higher and higher. But what we're really concerned about is this liquid pump can only go up to 275 before it starts to overheat. And this pipe is what cools it. So we're at 230. Oh yeah, good. Now it's going back down. See how quickly it dropped once the oil counterflow went through. Perfect. So we made it through that. Go back up to our rocket. Okay, so first off, let's make sure that we have this fixed. I need to do power line that goes like this, one that goes like this. Yeah, put that at high priority. Right now, the second biggest problem that we're having is that these shutoffs ran out of power, which means that we have, this is out of control, and I need to get power into these quickly. Okay, so that one's back on. I'm going to temporarily connect this to this just to get that powered up. It's going to overload a little bit, but I'll disconnect it once I have more power flow. I kind of wanted to show doing some of this, quick repair stuff, because I feel like a lot of times people just show you things working, and you learn more from seeing things getting worked out than seeing things work perfectly. There we go. So now we have power back to this. Everything's golden. Sweet. This rocket pad we can deconstruct. And then we are going to land our new rocket, or our old rocket, at this new rocket pad. And once it's in place, then we can realign all the elements of it and get our piping done so that this will be its new home. Perfect. Landed. Extend our gantry. So our power might be messed up for that. There's too much heat here. So that's something we're going to have to address as well. This power wire needs to be... Oh, needs to be steel so that it doesn't overheat. So we're going to have to go through and work out all the things that get problems with heat. And I'm going to work on that with this one before we move any of the other rockets. That way we have everything figured out. So we want to copy this, but we want to switch it over to make it out of obsidian for these bottom ties, because they are melted. While we're at it, I'm going to replace this side of the ladders all the way up to here. So everything below the second gantry should be made out of obsidian, just to make sure that I don't have any issues with heat. Looks like that's where the heat stops, or becomes negligible. So we're set there. The other thing that's nice about this is I won't have the issues with the steam, because here we have steam that stays up and then it liquefies and it causes all kinds of issue. But that's because there's tiles back here. Up here, when the rocket bay is finished, it'll all be with a space background, and anything that comes out of the rocket will just get taken into space. So no problem. But okay, let's let that get worked on. We'll do some more work on this rocket soon. But what we're working on today is on Gorgani, and I'm going to show you what we need it for before we go over there. But our steel production has pretty much ground to a halt, and it's because we have no lime. So if we look in our database, solid lime, it's consumed by steel, but it's produced from, excuse me, it's produced from eggshells, it's produced from pokey shell molts, and it's produced from fossil. Now, I don't have a renewable way to get fossil as of yet, but I do have a renewable way to get eggs and possibly pokey shell molts, though I don't have those right now. So what I want to do is increase the number of animals that we're ranching on Gorgani so that we can get more eggs, so we can create more lime, and that lime will be sent over to the main colony to produce more steel so that we can do more things with it. That's the plan. So we're going to work on building more stables, having more stable control, and some more nursery action. Because we have the power to run it, we can incubate more eggs and have higher populations of animals, which will be all good in the long run. So I'm going to work out what we're going to work on first, and I'll be back after that. The first thing that we're going to work on here in Gorgani is that currently any surplus critters that are in here get auto-wrangled, and I had them set up to drop off into these couple of stables up here just as overflows, and now I have a ton of random critters in here. I don't want that. I want to be a stable that holds the right amount of animals so that they reproduce properly, because right now these guys are all overcrowded, so their reproduction is at 2%, which means I only get a new egg every 50 cycles. Not what I want. I want a lot of eggs. That's the whole goal of this farm. If we look at our stone hatches, they're also slightly overcrowded so that they're not producing eggs. So I think now this one's now fine because we have got the population where we want it to. So I'm doing some minor tweaks to each room. This one I'm going to make a little bigger just to give it some more space. Excuse me. And then we're going to get rid of these rooms here, and we're going to replace it with a proper room where we put the excess critters where they are taken care of. And by taken care of, I mean made to evolve into meat. So that the idea is that we'll have a stable for each type of critter that we're going to keep. They'll lay eggs. The eggs will get incubated quickly so that the population stays high and they keep producing more eggs. We already have up here in our little nursery here a spot where the excess eggs are dropped off so that they can just turn into meat and eggshells on their own. I do think I need to work on a few things. One is that these slugs, I don't think that they can drown because I had one of them hatch in there and then I had to manually take care of it. I don't think I'm going to be raising them anyway because I'm only going to be doing the critters that I need either for specific things or for the achievement. During this playthrough, I'm not going to mess around with the new critters that came with the DLC. That's not my plan. So we won't have to deal with that in the long run, but what we want is to change this up so that there is a room here where the eggs are handled like they are, but also a room where we drop off critters and then the critters will have a little trap so that they walk into it and then they are taken care of. So I'm probably going to design that. I may extend this up into here, finish off this room. But either way, I want to get it all up here. So this will be the area where we have excess critters handled and eggs handled. And then I'm going to redo some of this nursery so that we have a couple of incubators for each type of egg, because now we have the power to run them. And that way we can keep egg production going as quickly as we can, which will also help us with trying to get new egg breeds for different things, because I'm still trying to get the one for the smooth hatch. And then I'm also going to be pulling any eggs or critters that I don't have out of the mini pod. So we're going to be working on that for quite a few cycles. I just wanted to give you an overview of what we're going to be doing before we get started on it. Oh, I almost forgot, even before this episode started, we had gotten a colony achievement. So I wanted to bring that up on camera so we can see what we got. Of course, that's going to lag just for a minute while we load it. I think it must be a DLC one. I don't know what it is. Moral high ground. Have the duplicates in one rocket survive in space for 10 cycles in a row with a morale of 25 or higher. Nice. Okay. I found the first egg that I need from a printing pod. One of the achievements is to raise shine nymphs, and here we got some eggs. So we're going to take them from there, and then I got to set up a stable for them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to 8. I'm going to change it to auto wrangle. We're going to change it so that it's not all critters, and we just have the shine nymphs. And then everything else should be taken care of, except that I need to get those eggs into there. Which means we need a drop off. Set this to high priority. I want to get those eggs over there quickly so I don't run the risk of forgetting about them and having them hatch. And then having to wrangle the nymphs. I have this currently set at. This can be set at while I'm still working on this. That way they have somewhere to go. So this one has 15 critters in it, so they'll put some there. Okay, so now we have a dispenser. We'll go to critter egg. Giant nymph egg. It's high priority, so it goes and grabs them right away. And then we'll be set. We'll have a little shine nymph stable here. I'll need to set up an actual stable just to get the achievement. Let's take a look at the achievement so we can see. I'm going to go here. Excuse me. The achievement that we are looking for is Critter Whisperer. Shine Bug. Oh, we just need to tame it. Okay, that shouldn't be too hard. So we don't actually need to raise a certain amount of them. We just need to do have a station so we can tame a Shine Bug. So then what else do we need? We need Draco, Puffed, Pokeshell, and then the Gassy Moo. We did locate Moomiall on the map. So this is the planet that has the Gassy Moos. So all we need to do is get over here and tame a Gassy Moo for that achievement. But then there's another achievement for the Gassy Moos afterward. Okay, cool. So the Shine Nymph eggs are in here. The grooming station is getting built. We're clearing out the rest of the critters and putting them up in here. And that means once those eggs hatch, we can actually turn this off. We keep picking them up forever. Once those eggs hatch, we'll have Shine Nymphs in here, stations here, so we'll start grooming them, which means that they will get tamed. I think. I'm not sure how it works, if it works the same with flying critters. I would assume it does. But I can't recall doing anything. So we'll let that part go, and we'll keep on with the rest of this. We're still trying to groom our hatches down here so that they can get, so that we can get a smooth hatch. So what I'm going to do to improve the chances of that is I'm going to put a dispenser down here, and I'm going to drop off some. Actually, no, I don't want a dispenser because then it'll just get picked up. Let's do critter feeder. And we're going to set this critter feeder to hold some ores. And then that way some of these stone hatches will eat ore, which increases their chance of them dropping a smooth hatchling egg. That'll be our plan. And we already have it set up for smooth hatch station up here. Get everything cleaned out of here, because once I put a new hatch in there, I don't want him eating things that he's not supposed to. Then we'll have problems. So once this is built, then we'll select some ore and have some ore dropped off here for them to eat. I may disable this feeder just to make it happen quicker. In fact, let's do that. Just temporarily. Make it so it doesn't have any food. I guess I could have just switched it to that one, now that I think about it. That's okay. So smooth hatch, I have a lot of cobalt ore. That's what we're going to use. Set this to higher priority. Cool. Grabbing the cobalt from up there, and they're putting it in our critter feeder. So now these stone hatchings will eat the cobalt ore, and that will increase the chance of them dropping a smooth hatchling egg. See, the probability increases when the creature eats copper, gold, iron, wolframite, aluminum, or cobalt. That's great. So now these guys are going to eat nothing but cobalt for a little while, and then we'll get a smooth hatchling egg, and I can farm the smooth hatchling. So we've let this run for just a little bit, and I wanted to show you that our smooth hatchling chance has already gone up to 6%. And since the population in here is set right, we're reproducing quickly. That one's actually at 2%. What his issue is at the moment. But let's get another one. So he's producing at 17%, which means I'll get an egg in a few cycles, and his rate is already at 6%. So it's just be a matter of time before we get a smooth hatchling egg. And like I said, I already have a incubator set up to cook that egg, and this is set up for smooth hatchlings, so that as soon as we get one, we'll have one in here, and they'll start eating the cobalt. So that's all set. Other thing I wanted to show you, this dude keeps getting wrong places. It's time for him to go. The pips here, now that I've changed the settings in here, as I showed you before, now they're up to producing an egg at 17% per cycle, which means I'll get more pip eggs, which is good, because egg production is ultimately the goal of all of these farms. I don't particularly need the food. The voles are going to provide that for me. These are all about getting eggs. More and more eggs. This dude has been probably keeps being sneaky. He needs to be taken. He was one I got out of the printer, and then he just keeps getting in the wrong stuff, walk through walls and stuff. And now he has evolved into it. At least supposed to. There he goes. Outside of stable, is this room too big? It's probably the issue. 107 tiles, so I need to take off 11 tiles. That's 8, 9, 10, 11. So that'll turn this into a stable. So then that's set so that the shine nips will be taken care of. What I'm going to work on next is actually building the area for handling the critters like I had talked about before. I built a fairly simple evolution chamber here. All we do is any excess critters go in here. I've taken a few out. I don't have any slugs or voles coming in here because they can't handle it. Because the voles will just burrow their way out to get out of the trap, and the slugs won't drown. But so basically, it's real simple. They get dropped off. They go down in here. This critter sensor that's in here, if there is, it's green if it's below 1. So as soon as there's a critter in here, it closes the door. I have the door powered, so it does it pretty quickly. So critter will walk down in here, the door will close, which will cause the water to fill the room, and they will slowly drown. Simple, to the point. I may do some more advanced stuff with it later, but then as soon as they turn into meat, the door opens, which allows another one to come down in, which closes the door, which lets them go. So right now there's a lot of them because I had a ton of them in these rooms down here. But I've set these to auto-wrangle if there's more than 0. So they're slowly being grabbed out of here and put into the other chamber, which means that the only ones we will have are the ones that we want in our stables. And then we can start using these rooms to build more stables and start increasing our population. And like I said, since these populations are now right, that means the reproduction rates are higher, which means that we're getting more eggs, which is great. And last thing I want to check on is this one says cramp. 7 out of 7. Room is 93. There's still an egg in here. That must be the problem. Why is this egg not getting picked up? Go in here. Is this not reaching it? Ah, this is in the wrong spot. So we'll have to fix this. We'll move this all over so that this can reach the whole room. Oh, it's because I added that extra space to the room. That's why. Okay. So we're going to move the conveyor loader over one. We'll move the auto sweeper over one to get that spot. When there's an egg in the room, they get the cramped debuff, which means that they won't reproduce. Or they'll reproduce very, very slowly. Oh no, they won't reproduce at all. So we need to change this so that they get the eggs out of the room immediately. Which is what we want anyway, so it's all good. But if we look at the percentages, the chance for smooth hatchling eggs are now up to like 23% on most of these guys. This one has it, yeah, 23%. So the longer it goes, the more likely we are to get a smooth hatchling egg. Let's see if we've actually gotten one yet. We didn't. This one is set to smooth hatchling, so as soon as we get one, it'll get put in there and it'll get incubating. Okay, so let's do conveyor loader. And we'll put that right here. So let's put it right here. Then I can get rid of some of these rails. I don't need all of them. In the other rooms, it doesn't matter because the rail's going to go the whole way, but for here it's not. So put that right there. And we'll do power over to here. And that's increased the priority on that because I want to get it done so we can see it working. And that's... have this at priority 7. So this has to be priority 5 or 6. 5 will be fine. We'll just leave it where it is when it goes. We'll set it to everything for now except for cobalt ore so that it won't pick up the food that drops out of here. Come on. We want to set this to everything. Or there we go. So now it's picking everything up. Should grab that egg very shortly. As soon as there's space for it to go, I guess. Of course, it's literally doing the egg last in the room. Okay, so now that the egg's gone, they're happy. Reproduction's back up to 17%. And like I said, we're around 20% for our smooth hatchling egg chance. So we're getting closer and closer to getting our smooth hatchling for our refined metal farm. And now we have our shine nymphs up here that are being tamed. Oh no, the stable's not quite finished yet. Why? Oh, because they can't get through there. Deconstruct that one. Let's put this one here. Priority 7 on all of that stuff to finish it. So we'll have to work on designing how we want to do our stables up here. I kind of might move them up because I kind of want to have this iron volcano area a little more exposed so that I can work with that here in the future. But for now, it will do its job, and we will be able to tame our shine nymphs or we'll get our smooth hatchling to start working on that achievement and make some more progress. But we'll check back in on that in the next episode because it is time for us to call it a day. Hope you enjoyed watching it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.